Oof, all right. Hello, hi, hey, whatever. Welcome to a Market Down production. That's the last year. I mean, who does that anymore? But this is the Raw Fast Forward. My name is. I didn't plan this out ahead of time, and I haven't watched anything of substance in a while. But I'm just gonna say that I'm gonna fall back on a community and just say that I am Jeff Winger. I'm joined by Pierce Hawthorne,
Damn it!
and we're here to review Monday Night Raw, New Year's edition, the first Raw of 2023. And how was it? Oh, we're gonna tell you. But first, how are you, James? How are you this fine 2023 evening?
I am good. I'm better than AJ Styles. Both my ankles are working.
That's pretty good. And we're not AJ's age, but we're at an age where that's not a guaranteed. So that's good.
Yeah. No, this is a genuine win for me.
That's good. There we go. I'm happy. I'm happy to hear it.
How about you? How are you on this new year that we are living in?
I'm okay. I have this like awesome little raccoon on my sweater, so like that's really
awesome.
good. And very close for everyone at home. That's pretty awesome. So yeah, other than that, I guess normal business as usual. Um, sorry, I'm just moving my mic closer. My desk is a mess actually. I didn't clean very well. I have paperwork from my job. But anyway, Monday Night Raw. We wasted enough time. We can actually get into it now. Uh, the show started off pretty normal, run of the mill, standard TV opening with everything being fucked up. Uh, the place was in disarray, sort of, not really. The bloodline was there. They were picking up not where they left off last week, but they're picking up where they started last week, which was just fucking shit up. They were out fucking shit up on the announce table. They flipped the announce table. They were talking to the cameras, saying they run this show. The bloodline runs this show. They're going to hurt people. And who should come out but Kevin Owens, guy who said he was done with Sami Zayn a month ago.
Liar and a hypocrite.
Right, which is very unlike Kevin Owens. But he came out, and then Sammy didn't even let him talk. He said, "I'm going to stop you right there, buddy." He's like, "This is all your fault, buddy. And I'm going to tell you what we're going to do, buddy." And he kept calling him his buddy, not in a "you're my buddy" way, but in a just a random, just a name you call someone, a casual name. That could be anyone. It's a generic buddy.
It felt very Canadian.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not your guy, buddy. I'm the guy, and he, said we're gonna hurt people and it's all because of you. And then Kevin, because Kevin Owens is the best at talking like a real person or like a wrestler who knows that he's on a wrestling show. And he was just like, I had something to say. That's why I came out here with a microphone. But now I just want to beat you up. And then he went to the ring to fight. I love that line. He starts brawling, I'm sorry, Adam the Pierce came out and said, "Nope, not tonight. Security, go get him." And they beat up the security, which felt like an unnecessary step in this, but it's fine. Then Owens ran in, started brawling, and who should make the save but like a fifth of the Raw roster?
A bunch of guys.
Everyone they beat up, the Bloodline beat up last week. This was giving me flashbacks of the week that the whole Raw locker room came out to chase off the Nexus, except not as cool as that. That was one of the best parts of Raw that year before John Cena ruined the Nexus. No offense, Chips. I just realized it. I honestly just realized it. But, this felt like that, just a little bit lesser. And then they said, "Oh, we're going to have matches later. You guys aren't getting off that easy. You want to show up to work, you're going to actually have to work."
Crazy
Pretty fair.
Concept.
Adam Pearce is so weird, man. He's like sometimes really good at the job, and then like 60% of the time he's not. 40% 40% of the time he's not, 40% of the time he is, 20% of the time I don't know why he's there.
Yep.
So,
Fair.
they have a backstage segment later or right after actually to get back from commercial where we're going to get Kevin Owens and the Prophets of the Street versus the tag champs and Sammy Uso in a 6-man tag. And Ezekiel's older and just not as good brother, Elias, is going to face Solo in a Music City street fight. Not a very good name. They were in Nashville, by the way. It comes up a lot. Nashville, you were mid, but you had your moments, like in the main event, which we'll get to. But we start off kind of with the title match. It is the Raw Women's Championship. It is Hometown Girl, kind of, versus Alexa Bliss, kind of. And this match, man, Bianca came out swinging, and oh boy, did Alexa answer with a lot of whiffs, a lot of misses, a lot of not connecting strikes that even Corey Graves had to acknowledge it. It was a very, very sloppy start to this match. I'm very upset to see that. Bianca's usually a lot better. Alexa is fine.
He's there. She was there.
Yeah. The second half of this match, because it cuts commercial way too quickly, which, that's not a criticism of them. That's unfair of them. This is poor formatting. But it came out commercial, picked up a little bit. Bianca posted the ring post, and Corey was like, "Is the shoulder injury going to come into play later in this match?" No, Corey. Good try though, good try, but it really didn't, because this match wasn't about working over an injury. This match was about Alexa being still brainwashed and being part of the Wyatt Six, because a random guy in a random mask was in the crowd and it distracted Alexa. And then he was immediately on the other side of the crowd, which distracted Alexa a lot more reasonably at that time, because, that's a little weird. And then, the flashes on the screen of the Wyatt logo came up, and then she started getting a headache and did some not so great acting, and then attacked the referee to not really cause a DQ, but to end the match, essentially. And then she attacked Bianca and beat the shit out of her and hit a terrible DDT on the steps, followed by a slightly better one a few moments later. Weird selling from Bianca, who's usually like top tier seller. I think in my description of this match, I've given away a lot of my opinions on it. So, am I off the mark here? What did you think about this match?
Not at all. I'm usually not somebody who notices right away when a match is sloppy, but I could not avoid seeing how sloppy this was. I don't know. I know you put a lot of that on Bianca. I don't know how true that is. My mind initially went towards Alexa.
No, I'm saying Bianca's normally better than that. Not that it was her fault, just that her matches usually are a lot cleaner than that.
Very fair. I think this is a case of two people who don't have a lot of in-ring chemistry. Bianca tends to be a lot more physical. Alexa is known for more, I don't want to say theatrical matches, but I'd say more, her character work is where she shines, not her ring work. And I think they had a lot of ideas that could have worked. There was some funny stuff. Like, I liked Bianca holding Alexa by like the forehead as Alexa's trying to swing at her. That was a cute, funny little bit. But that's not something I would imagine Bianca doing in most matches. That felt like it happened because this was Alexa Bliss.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I think the true meat of all this is what happened near the end of the match, and what happened after the match. That's fine. That's fine. I don't think any of us expected Alexa to walk out with the title tonight. I mean, granted, I don't think any of us expected Charlotte Flair to be the SmackDown Women's Champion, but at the end of it, I think this progressed the story in the way that it should have. I just wished the match itself wasn't as sloppy as we got there.
That is fair. And that don't let my complaining about it take away from the fact that I am interested in the direction of Alexa Bliss as far as her and Bray Wyatt, because I feel like I'm one of the only people who I actually want them to interact again. I don't want
Yeah.
them to pretend it never happened. I understand that
agree.
it ended absolutely terribly, but I was into Alexa with the Fiend at first, before the Fiend left, and it was Alexa versus Randy on her own.
Yeah.
Before then, I was super into it. But real quick, are you excited for Alexa Bliss as part of the Wyatt Six, as it's known on the internet?
So I'm very excited for her to interact with Bray. I really do want this to be a fake out though, because by all accounts, she betrayed him. So I would like for there to be repercussions in that. But I want that interaction. I'm more pro Asuka at this point because I think it could do more for her than it could for Bliss. I think Bliss can stand on her own without it, but Asuka definitely needs a shakeup of some sort. So I don't know how you get there, but I would love to see Alexa think she's joining the fold again, only to get rejected, and Asuka's there in the wings waiting. That's my ultimate goal.
Okay. You got me there at the end, because at first I was like, not that I don't want the Asuka involvement of it, but I didn't like the idea of the fake out. But when you put it like that, where it's Wyatt faking her out and ultimately leading her along just to deny her, that's actually really interesting, and I could be into that, because that could give Alexa something to do, because Alexa, I think, needs it just as much as Asuka. It's just Alexa's slightly more protected than Asuka and loses less than her, but Asuka's on TV. Asuka has something to do more and is on TV more, or at least in the past 2 years.
Yeah.
But that's a very interesting idea, and I'm into that. But yeah, the stretcher Bianca off, and she's gonna get evaluated later on. Fine stuff. A little sloppy, but the story beats were in the right place, I think. So
Exactly.
we'll take it. And then we get one of our first Bloodline matches after that. It is Solo versus Ezekiel's brother. Ezekiel's brother wants to play a song beforehand. He introduces the third Hardy bro in the crowd, who wrote the song for SummerSlam, because they couldn't get the other Hardys band to play a song for it, because he's got problems and is contracted somewhere else for some reason still. So yeah, who the fuck is Hardy? First of all, I don't know who that is.
I could genuinely say I've never heard of this guy before. I'm not musically inclined, but I've never heard of Hardy before.
I don't want to say I'm musically inclined, but I'm musically inclined. I don't know who the fuck that is. Okay. I don't want to make the joke I'm going to make. I don't want to get in trouble, so I'll save it.
It's a new year. Let's start off on the right foot.
I don't know what that is. That you encouraging me to make the joke?
No,
anyway,
no, it's not. It's not.
This match went way too long. Solo should have won this match in 4 minutes, but it went through like 2 commercial breaks for some reason. But the finish was awesome.
Yeah.
Not the setup for the finish, which was this Hardy cousin. He didn't really look like a Hardy boy or Hardy brother. It looked more like just a cousin you don't really talk about that much, but when he shows up at family events, you just got to put on a face and get through it, because it's just like once or twice a year you got to see him. So you really just got to swallow it and just move on for the sake of having an easier evening. And that's what we had to do here. Is this guy jumped in the ring illegally? Like, who the fuck? Like, you are not famous enough to jump the barricade. I'm sorry, security should have tackled him. Like,
going back, that security guard who was like hands on for the Uncle Howdy person in the crowd. I was like, please don't ruin this moment. And somebody flagged him off, and that was great. But we were this close to having another Gronk situation, but we didn't have one here. We didn't have one here.
But, the moment was cool that came from this, because he grabbed a guitar, he smashed it over Solo, who of course no-sold it, because who the fuck is Hardy? Why would you sell a move for the guy? But then Hardy was such a bad actor and walked so weirdly. I'm sorry if you have a problem that causes you to walk like that, but the way he walked, like, it was odd. I don't know. I don't mean to dwell on it, but he looked very out of place, even though he's tall and taller than everyone in the match. He
He was
looked
gawky. He was
so
very
out of place.
gawky.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, man. You seem like a perfectly okay guy in small doses, and I'm being generous, but like, I don't mean to make fun of you. But then Elias tried to, for some reason, hit a move with the broken guitar off the top rope like a moron. Like, man, his younger brother really was the athlete in the family, because what the hell was he thinking?
At the very least, the brains.
Yeah.
The brains of the family.
Solo Samoan spiked him, which, we haven't had a Raw fast forward in a while, but I have mixed feelings about Solo doing the Samoan spike. I think it's a very nice tribute, and I like that aspect of it. I think it's a terrible move, and I hate seeing it, but I like the sentiment behind it. So I'm back and forth on it. But then he takes him outside and hits a fucking spinning solo, which is a weird name, on the piano, and it was awesome because the piano, it was about to pull an "I am the table," but then it collapsed, and the collapse was like, there was such a delay between Elias hitting and the collapse. It was very satisfying, and that's how the match ended. Went on way too long. What do you think about it?
As someone who grew up hating Umaga, or hate loving Umaga, I don't know. As a kid, he was a heel that I did not like, but as an adult, I love what he became, what he was. I hated him for the right reasons. I am loving the Samoan Spike resurgence, and I think that would have been such an amazing finish to the match, especially when you have someone like Elias, whose whole gimmick is that he's a singing guitar player.
Oh, that's a good point.
You could do this incredible thing where moving forward, his voice, his throat is messed up, and he has a real reason to have a vendetta against Solo and the Bloodline. But I understand that, like, the heavy spot of like the rock bottom Uranagi, whatever it was, onto the piano, but I think that's a real missed opportunity if they don't work off of that moving forward. The match itself, again, I feel bad saying it because I don't usually think this way when I'm watching live. But as I was watching it, I kept thinking to myself, there is nothing about this match that I'm going to remember later. It was only at the end. It was only the finish.
That's it. That's why I didn't talk about anything else that happened in the match, because
the one spot that I will give them outside of the finish, getting hit by a fully swung keyboard has to suck. And Solo sold it like a champ. Yeah. I don't think you could gimmick that, and I think he just took that like a real beast, and that was really cool. So that's the one spot outside of the finish that I could say I'll remember that tomorrow. Maybe.
Real quick, Happy New Year, John Blattner. It's a BX 1743, whoever that is. Happy New Year, guys. We're talking about the Music City Street Fight. So while we're at it, guys, what was your top song of the year on Spotify? What about you, James? Was it like a Virgin by Madonna?
I would love to tell you that I even have a Spotify, but that would be a lie.
Oh, you're an Apple Music guy?
I have iTunes. I don't even know if I have Apple Music. I have iTunes, and I listen to stuff on YouTube sometimes too.
I really sad. It really saddens me to have to say this to you, but okay, Boomer.
No, I'm too old.
Well, John, BX 1743. What was your top song on Spotify last year? Mine was a song called "Blue Again" by the band Weekend Friends. I don't know what John's was. Maybe it was "Dancing on My Own" again. I'm not sure. But we got an answer. Mac Hami Blockchain. That makes sense. I've never heard it, but I understand based on the name why it was yours, John. Anyway, so yeah, maybe it was a fun match. It really wasn't, but the finish was cool. So I remember that at least.
Yeah.
And then pretty much immediately after, we had the 6-man tag with, I was interviewing Bianca Belair and stuff, but or I might have that out of order. I didn't write down a lot of the in between stuff. I'm not gonna lie. I doing planned on doing a fast forward, recorded one, not a live one, but someone sprung their involvement in this on me. So
I seem to
here
recall
we are.
someone asking if there was going to be any, what was the word you used? Scoobies joining today.
Yeah, that was just like a courtesy thing. I knew no one would.
The Gym
And you
Pad
didn't
Zone
answer.
knows no. I didn't answer. Although I made it clear via social media. I responded to you like a petty celebrity. I aired out. I responded to you like Karen Jarrett responds to Kurt Angle.
I was just about to say that. All right. Fair enough. So yeah, we had a 6-man tag between the Bloodline and the KO Profits. And Montez was all depressed and emo because his wife got fucking destroyed earlier. Which, nice to see someone selling the effects of what happened. There's way too many sick couples on the shows now where it almost makes it a logistical nightmare where it's like you got people no selling their significant others beat down earlier in the night.
I think we need to get some divorces going in 2023. I think we need to see some couples splitting up IRL.
Or stop being nice and put them on separate parents. Okay,
fair enough.
It's too nice. But or just put intergender tag titles at this point. I don't give a fuck. I'm only saying that like half sarcastically, but yeah, he's all distracted because his wife got beat up, so he's not tagging in. He's staring off into the distance. He's looking mad. He's looking like it's his first time at the Black Parade, and I understand. So it's Kevin Owens selling for a bit and running wild. Angelo Dawkins running wild, selling for a bit. They keep going back and forth to that until Kevin Owens just tags Montez in, gives him a slap, and it wakes him up. I didn't think that was a satisfying, coming to moment for Montez, but he ran wild for about a minute and a half. Then more shenanigans happened, and Sammy picked up the win to bounce back from losing to freaking John Cena and Kevin Owens of all people on SmackDown on Friday. So that's good. That gives him some credibility back. That gives him some goodwill in the eyes of the head of the table, who's no-show dinner like 2 Mondays in a row, but or probably like 18 Mondays in a row. But it was a fun match. If they're going somewhere with Montez, I did have a brief moment where I'm like, is he gonna join the White Six? Like that look in his eye isn't like a completely despondent look. That is more of a inner turmoil, but probably not. Just probably a coincidence. But what did you think of the match and the outcome?
You were talking about Adam Pearce, where sometimes he seems really competent, sometimes he's very active, and other times it's like, what the hell? All I could think when they were doing that backstage segment where he was setting up the matches between Elias and Solo, and then KO Profits versus the Bloodline, and you have just like 5 to 6 other wrestlers who wanted to do something and then just didn't. I'm thinking to myself, why not just book a lumberjack match? Why not get everybody involved who wants to be involved? And then Solo Sikoa comes out to help the Bloodline beat the KO Profits. And I felt validated in saying, why the hell didn't you just book a lumberjack match? So Pierce is stupid, but beyond that, the match itself was good. I thought it was really weird that of all the people, it was Dawkins who was shirtless and Montez who was wearing a shirt for the majority of the match. That it really threw me off.
He was depressed. He wasn't feeling confident to take the shirt off.
I will say, I think I've never truly liked Montez Ford's gear. It does not feel like somebody who would be a main eventer. It looks too baggy. It makes him look small. It makes him look small. Like he's a built guy, like he is shredded, but he doesn't look massive. So I don't know what it is, but his gear threw me off. And I know I'm not talking about the match, but the gear tonight highlighted that for me. He felt like a guy who would take a pin in this match. and he did take the pin in this match. And I thought it was pretty standard stuff. I'm glad that it doesn't seem yet like there's heat on Sammy. We all know that it's coming sooner than later. The betrayal, the excommunication from the bloodline. So I don't want it to feel like it's just nonstop, considering how long it took to get us to this point where he was accepted by them. So at least tonight, it didn't seem like there was much dissension. Maybe on SmackDown that'll be different. But yeah, it was a good standard match. I did like that tease of Sammy wanting to take the chair to Kevin, and then they didn't really deliver on that because it got interrupted by.
So after the match, they started beating up Kevin Owens more, and then Solo went to get a chair. Sammy was like, "No, give me the chair, dog." And Solo was like, "All right, word, I'll do anything for you, Sammy." And he gave him the chair, and Sammy's like, "Yeah." But then Sheamus and Drew McIntyre came out of the crowd all the way from SmackDown and attacked the Bloodline and made the save, because they're going to probably do that match that they were going to do last week before Drew was medically unable to compete. So they're probably going to do that. And that's actually really exciting. I'm a big fan of that. I'm a big fan of two main eventers. I don't mean to be insulting to Sheamus, but it feels weird saying about him now. But, two big names, two former WWE champions, putting over the tag champs, for them to inevitably lose to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn is a nice touch there. So I'm a big fan of that match whenever it happens, and I probably won't even watch it, but I'm a fan of it. So yeah, good save. That's a good point about the nice touch. You excited for McIntyre and Sheamus versus the Usos match?
I am. I'm surprised you like it as much, because you're so against Franken teams. But I guess that's only when they win tag titles.
Yeah, well, because this is two forces coming together for a reason. And yeah, they're not like going to win the titles. This is just two big names coming together for a common enemy, because it's all connected and part of the story. It's not just, well, I guess to be fair, Swerve and Our Glory had to come together to fight the unstoppable force of Team Taz. It's I don't know, it's a big thing, and they have so much history. They're not they're a Frankie team, but they're not a tag team. But there's so much between them that it's not a random pairing. It's two people who have a rich history together, coming together. So that's the part of it that makes me like it. But yeah, that'll be fun. I'm into that. And then speaking of things I'm into, not this next match. It was Dexter Lumis versus Chad Gable. Why?
I didn't like it either.
I don't know why. The only thing I was into was seeing Dexter face anyone else but The Miz, which feels like a first. But he made his entrance, his little weird slithery entrance, and he's named Dexter. I don't know if you know this, but the Dexter in his name is actually in reference to Dexter's Laboratory.
Of course, clear. He wears gloves.
Yeah, it all makes sense. He speaks in a funny voice, I assume. I've never heard him speak, but so the match was whatever. I don't have any notes on it besides that Otis is hilarious, and he sold being scared amazingly. I thought it was funny, even though it shouldn't have been happening. I still laughed when he fell over in fear, and then got up and tried to play it off like only Otis can. Remember when Otis was like the most over person on the roster, and he was dating Mandy Rose, and look where they both are now. One's a fucking millionaire.
After 1 month. 1 month.
And the other's still doing good work, I'm not gonna lie, but he's not Mr. Money in the Bank anymore. This sucked. Do you have anything to add? Dexter won with the roll-up too. Why couldn't he just win with his finisher?
I I was going to start by saying I actually really like when you see wrestlers have random matchups. Like sometimes I just want to see two guys have a match and there's not much story involved.
Yeah.
It's just these two guys meeting for the night. And then I thought about it and how much more sense it would have made if Dexter wrestled Otis instead. Because Dexter got screwed last week by the returning Bronson Reed.
True.
And you'd imagine he's going to have a match against Bronson at some point. So if you have Dexter go against another, let's say, large fella in Otis, yeah, he could go against these big guys. He's got a chance against Bronson Reed. But no, they had him go against Gable and have to roll him up. Felt weird.
Man, you were on fire tonight. You're making so many good points. That is another great point. And where the hell was Jonah Reed, Bronson Hill? I don't know. Where was he on the show? They had a little video package for him later, but like there was no follow-up to that whatsoever. Where was Johnny Gargano?
I know you don't like him, but where was Miz? He won. You think he'd cut a promo?
Where was Miz?
Yeah.
I don't like Miz contextually, but like he's gonna be on Raw every week, and I have no problem with that. It's just sometimes a problem with what he's doing on Raw, or how much he's on Raw, or who he's facing, and whenever he wins. But like, I wouldn't have minded Miz having a fucking segment. That would have been fine. I tune out Miz TV, but I accept that it's gonna be there.
It moves the story along. It's just not always in the best way, but it does do the job.
But where was anything from that? Where's the money? But whatever. It was, I guess, harmless. I guess. I mean, I would like Alpha Academy to win matches this year, but we'll see. So far, not good. But we'll see how that goes. There was a Cody Rhodes video package. I guess he's coming back soon. It'd be weird if he didn't, but they're playing these video packages,
He shows up on SmackDown instead.
Number 30 hits at the Rumble, and it's R-Truth.
No, it's Dustin.
Oof. Dustin, credible. After that, we had Damage Control making their way to the ring, and Bailey is cutting a promo. It's fine. It's kind of generic. Not Bailey's best stuff, but not bad. It's harmless, stuff. And then Becky Lynch comes out, and I'm going to try not to be, but real quick, actually, I'm going to address our chat real quick. Pick up the phone at the Matrix remix by Dragonette is BX1743's most played song of the year. Sorry to interrupt myself there, but Becky Lynch came out to retort. She had a line I liked where she said, "Bailey, you're acting like you invented the wheel, but you're actually just on a hamster wheel." I thought it was a clever line, and then said, you're used to being in someone else's shadow. You finally just got out of someone else's shadow a year ago, and now you're right back in someone's shadow because you're actually not the leader of your group. You're a leech sucking off the successful ones in your group, the ones who are holding titles in your group of Dakota and Io Sky, putting them over massively. And look, I always find new ways to be biased about the people I like, which sometimes, is Becky Lynch. But in one promo that was just a fine run-of-the-mill promo, put over Dakota and Io Sky massively and made them feel like the most credible they've felt since they've been a group. And then challenged Bailey to a match. Of course, she said no. She's like, "You can fight my partners," and Becky, you can even find a partner. And Becky's like, "I don't have time for that. I'm just gonna fight them myself," which was cool. And I was like, "All right, she can fight them in the handicap match. She can either win by bullshit shenanigans because Bailey fucks up, or she can lose against a handicap match, and that's okay." But instead, we got the worst option of all, and Michin came out halfway through the match for a lukewarm tag, and then lost the match for her team because Becky was beating up Bailey outside and Michin's a jobber, so she lost. Which, you know, I am not happy that Becky has lost like 3 matches since coming back. Whereas, you know, someone comes back for 1 match and wins a title, and is somehow a babyface, which I don't. God, I'm upset, but also glad that our episode didn't air before that, because man, did it not age well so fast. But
I mean, to be fair,
Becky's doing, yeah.
You had a prediction for 2023. She found a way of just screwing 2022 one last time.
That's true. That's true. Another great point made by you. But yeah, like I said, I'm not thrilled about Becky losing again. She didn't get pinned in this match, but God, is she doing the imaginary Lord's work in trying to make Damage Control fucking credible after 4 months of them being fucking nothing and terrible, terrible booking. Oh boy, is she trying to make them credible. Or maybe Triple H is showing that he's not the savior we all think he is, and there's certain people he just doesn't know how to book, and I think Becky Lynch might be one of them. It could be that. Could be them trying their best to make Damage Control threat when it's way too late. But what did you think of this promo match and the Michin of it all?
The promo, as far as it goes with Becky, this is the Becky I love most. You know, she can be a little silly, she could be a little funny, but she still takes it seriously. Like, that was one of my big things with the man character. Sometimes I just had a hard time with her because she was too serious. And I didn't buy that from her. Like, I could buy Becky as a badass, but when she's just this like deadpan serious character that she sometimes was, it was tough for me to relate. But I like this Becky a lot. I also like that she dressed like Black Canary for some reason. I thought that was a really cool thing for this comic book fan in me. But the match itself, I kind of would have just preferred Becky going 1-on-2.
Yeah.
Even if that meant she lost, if I'm being honest, even if it meant she lost, I would have rather seen that. Nothing against Michin. She felt awkwardly inserted into this, and I think there were better ways that they could have handled it.
I mean, kayfabe wise, just makes no sense that you can come into a match halfway through and
I agree. Oh, yeah, I don't know if you caught it, but Bailey says it, and you kind of hear it in the background as the match is happening. She's like, I don't even know what's going on. So this is just a tag match now? And it was just so, like, perfectly executed. And it wasn't even supposed to really be on camera or anything. It was just caught on the mic. Loved it. Loved it, loved it, loved it. And, yeah, Becky's future is very much in flux right now. We assumed that she was going to be going against Ronda for the title over on SmackDown. And all accounts, that match is dead in the water. It's not happening anymore. I don't see any possible way Becky Lynch is active on the roster if she doesn't have a match come Mania. So maybe we are going to see her gravitating towards the tag division. I have no idea who her partner could be.
Oh man, no, we're not seeing that. This doesn't last till Mania. This probably ends at the Rumble. This is just giving Damage Control something for now, and then they'll have the blow off at the Rumble, and you know, that'll be that. And that's one of the things that I've had an issue with, that is apparently just deep rooted in WWE, and this wasn't a Vinceism, but like having someone lose to set up, you know, the match where they win is just a WWEism and not a Vinceism. I know that was a redundant statement, but real quick in our chat, I agree. Justice League Unlimited, Black Canary, greater than. But yeah, I think this just leads to a blow-off match where Becky gets the win over Bailey, and then who knows what happens now. Yeah, it's so weird. I say this all the time, and I don't want to make this about this, but Charlotte makes everything worse, and somehow she is making so many things worse instantly. Like, she's ruining people's roads to WrestleMania. She's making things unpredictable in a bad way, in a really boring, not exciting way. So I think we end up now with Rhea versus Becky, because I could just see Becky wanting to work with someone new and put over Rhea, as opposed to facing a watered down Ronda. Because that was the report, is that, essentially the Becky Lynch camp has little interest in the Ronda match now. I feel like it's been ruined, and rightfully so. It should have happened at WrestleMania 35. I think anyone who's reasonable would agree with that. And if you try to argue the other way, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but you're dumb. And that's
well
that.
Said. Well said.
But yeah, we'll see how it goes. This wasn't the best week of this feud, but like I said, Becky in one promo and 2 matches has given Damage Control more credibility than they've literally ever had. So, that is good. Yeah, if Charlotte could stay away from the title for more than 5 minutes, I'd probably hate her less. That's the thing. I can't even buy someone who's like, oh, I'm so glad Charlotte's returned and finally back. It's like, bro, all she does is show up, win a title, lose the title, leave for a few months, come back and repeat. It's the same shit over and over. It never changes. Nobody has left and come back in that division more than Charlotte. And nobody has been in the title picture more than Charlotte. Bro, I forgot. I don't want to name channels because I still don't think any other wrestling YouTube exists, but I saw a channel say lump Charlotte and Becky together, and I was like, oh, when like Charlotte or Becky returns and wins a title, I just get this feeling. It's like, bro, Becky did that one time. Yep. And it paid off. It was for a reason. There was a goal. There's an end point, and nothing like straight from that path. And it was the best match of WrestleMania last year. Fuck you, Cody. But and I guess fuck you, Ronda and Charlotte, but like, I don't care. They do good work. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I'll be interested to see what happens next week. I mean, next week they're just gonna set up the blow-off match for the Rumble, I assume. I wonder if it'll be a normal match, stipulation match. I wonder if this is how they keep Becky out of the Rumble. That's the thing. It's made me less excited for the Rumble, because now I know I'm just gonna be disappointed with the Women's Rumble almost no matter what, unless Rhea wins.
Yeah, I was gonna say, even if Rhea wins, I'd be happy.
Yeah, but then I'm like, the Becky market me is like, well, what's Becky gonna do now if Rhea wins?
I'm telling you, I have a weird feeling, because Rhea will probably win and go against Bianca. We're probably gonna get rematch of Ronda versus Charlotte.
A Mania?
Probably.
No, we're gonna get that at the Rumble.
You got to remember, they care about having the biggest match possible. That's their whole thing. They want the big marquee matches. I don't think there's a bigger marquee match on the SmackDown women's side than those two, unless you bring Becky over, which seems to be dead.
Well, not according to Eric, and Eric was right about Charlotte, so maybe he's on to something. But yeah, this sounds terrible. See, yeah.
Oh, I would not be shocked if we saw Becky entering the tag division. It's not what I want for her. She's way above it. You could argue she'll elevate the tag division, but nobody's been able to elevate the tag division for them. If granted, nobody's Becky Lynch, but
Bailey and Sasha did for a brief period, the second run.
That's fair. That's fair. But
they needed to hold the main titles.
Exactly. So but, I don't know.
I think we get Shayna and Ronda as the tag champs.
That would be cool.
I think that's coming soon. I think that's one of the only reasons that Ronda would have dropped the title too, is because she wants to move into the tag division. That's been reported. I think straight up said by her. So I could see that happening. Did you download Raid Shadow Legends to play as Ronda Rousey?
I have so much space. I only have so much space on my phone. And I got to be really meticulous about what I add. And I'm sorry, Ronda, but you ain't it.
Fair enough. Anyway, Dom went to prison. It is, bro. If you go back to previous Raw fast forwards of old, all we ever did was shit on Dominic Mysterio. And I still will. But god damn it, is it in an endearing way. I'm putting him on blast, but I'm giving him an attaboy. He is so good. He's terrible. Like, he's really, really bad at this. But now he's found a way to do it that it's so entertaining. He's embraced the fact that he sucks, and he's making that his whole thing. And it works. It's so good. It is annoying how good it is, but it's so good. This is going to be Dom's year. He's going to get pegged on TV. I said it before. I'm saying it again. It's going to happen.
Do you think Dominic Mysterio wins a title this year?
Doesn't matter. He could, but he could. It doesn't matter. But him and Rhea are going to win the tag titles, not the women's tag titles. They're going to be the ones to beat the Usos. Or they'll beat Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn after that because, you know, Sammy got pinned by Johnny Knoxville. He got pinned by Rhea Ripley. It's less embarrassing than getting pinned by Dom, honestly.
Yeah.
But I really kind of want them to do that. I don't know. If Rhea, I think he'll just be Rhea's, valet while she's champion. So that'll keep him busy. But he'll do some great stuff. He'll do some intergender matches for sure.
I really want them to recreate the Macho Man Miss Elizabeth picture, but with Rhea carrying Dom on the shoulder.
Oh man, that's fantastic. Okay, a great little video package. I'll let Dom win the U.S. title, but only Rhea carries it.
I would love that.
Yeah, I'd be into that. I'd be into that too. Let Rhea win the U.S. title and give it to Dom as a gift for being a good sub.
Let her a good sub. Let her beat Theory.
Oh my God, yes, please. That sounds great. I'm super into this. But speaking of Theory, he main evented Raw, taking on Seth freaking Rollins for the United States title. It's a match we've seen before, which was set up by a match that we've seen before. It's on a triple threat with it. This is 2/3 of that triple threat. But this match was great. Of course it is. It's Seth Rollins in a main event match. And Theory is good. I'm not going to pretend he's not good in the ring and he can't have good matches. I just think his push is unwarranted and never going to get over the way they wanted to. But he is good. He is better than he was a year ago. Yes. And I don't even think he's improved in ring. I just think he's better at presenting himself as credible than he was a year ago. Probably because it's nothing egg related anymore, but I do miss the egg. But this match was great. This was like one of the most alive the crowd was. They were into Seth. Seth is so over. It is insane. The crowd was into this. The crowd was into Becky. The crowd was super into Bianca because she's from a nearby place. That's about it, I would say. And then to Kevin Owens and the Bloodline, but super into the Bloodline actually as well. Yeah. There's a lot of Uso chants. They weren't the strongest, but they were trying their best. But they were loud for Seth and singing his song.
Oh, I want Seth to just. I almost don't want him to get introduced anymore. I just want the crowd to sing his song in. Like, remember when they did the Judas thing on AEW where Jericho couldn't have the song playing and then the crowd did it? I would just love it that one day the music's not playing and the crowd just sings them out.
Are they going to do the Burn It Down too? Or
I doubt they'll get the timing for it, but
I doubt they'll be able to do it at all because there's no words.
Yeah.
And it's a little weird, but that would be cool. But the match, it goes through a few commercial breaks. There's a lot of high impact moves. Seth has a great near fall for frog splash, which that's one thing Seth is fantastic at, is getting near falls off of moves you just know aren't going to end the match, but he makes you believe because he's just so freaking good. He's really good at wrestling. Well, I could end the sentence there, but he's really good at wrestling the WWE style. I don't think anyone mixes their own style with the WWE style better than Seth does. Only the argument's AJ.
AJ was the guy.
Two guys. But honestly, when's the last time AJ's had a match this good? in WWE. It's
that's
he's
fair.
not,
It's been a
not
while.
AJ from 2018.
Yeah.
And he hasn't been able to wrestle like that. But so good. Seth is selling the knee, and by that I mean it's Seth Rollins. So he does all his moves and then grabs his knee after. Which I usually don't mind, and I didn't mind here, but like it is a fair criticism of Seth Rollins.
Absolutely.
But he's doing the knee stuff. The ref goes down, as refs tend to do, and then another ref comes out. Seth almost takes that ref out too, but he stops himself. And Theory hits such an over-the-top low blow. It actually annoyed me. I was like, bro, you don't have time to fucking wind up like this. It's a low blow. You don't gotta. You could just fucking tap him, and it'll do the same thing. Like you don't have to wind up like that. But he hits it, and then he takes out the knee anyway for a good measure, which I'm gonna say was a nice touch to make the ref believe that he took him out like that by just hitting the weak knee. And then he hit the A-Town down for the win. Biggest win of Theory's pathetic, sad career.
I think so too.
And a fun match, a good match. I'll shit on Theory and I'll continue to do it, but I won't pretend this wasn't good and like he didn't have his moments there. So I assume you enjoyed this match. I assume you liked how Theory won and got the rub here. And also just to point out what I said earlier, Seth didn't seem too bothered by his wife getting screwed and losing a match like right before this. But like I just said, selling's not exactly Seth's strong suit. So how'd you like this match?
I am way bigger on the Theory than some people, and I think I'd say even if I wasn't, this was a necessity for him. He needed this win. He needed this match because almost everything he's gotten so far has felt like happenstance for him. He hasn't had that exclamation mark on his title reign or this run in general. So I think this was a big moment for him. I'm okay that he won with the low blow because he's the heel. He's the heel. There are some times where I don't want to see that. There are certain guys who overplay it, especially in other companies. But here, it felt like the right choice for that character for that moment, and it was a good match. I liked seeing some of the counters were great, like the Falcon Arrow getting countered after the top rope superplex. That was a great spot. Seth sold that finish beautifully. Like he ragdolled into it, which is just such a nice sell of that. And yeah, I'm glad that this feels like it's done now. Low blow or not. Like, yeah, maybe they could continue it, but I hope not. I'd rather see Seth in the Rumble. I kind of want Seth to go, I want him to be the Iron Man of the match. I want him to go number one and last a really long time.
Has it been? He hasn't been in a Rumble since 20. No, he was in 2021. Okay, never mind. He wasn't in last year's Rumble. That's
Gotcha.
Okay, now I was about to say because they do that thing because I was going to say earlier that Becky hasn't been in a Rumble since the one she won in 2019. They've nicely, skirted around that, which is why now, because of the Charlotte rule, I'm not looking forward to her being in it because I just feel like I'm going to be disappointed with how it goes. But no, I don't like hitting people in the balls. I don't find the humor in it. It's not really my thing. Sorry, I'm adjusting the chat.
What about Nakamura?
I don't know. It's hard because it's hard to just not look back at that and be disappointed that he never won the WWE title.
Fine, fair point.
I can't view it in proper context. But my friend Eddie, who maybe is watching this, probably not. He would always get hit in the nuts naturally when we were kids, and it was funny. But I didn't like hitting him in the nuts. That's That's not funny. That's not fun.
I think
That's
you
not a
just
nice thing to do to friends.
I think you just addressed BX's comments in the chat. That it sounds like you're speaking from experience when it comes to delivering low blows.
Yeah, that is what I'm addressing. I'm not a huge fan of it, but yeah, fun stuff. Seth is. It's weird because I just criticized Seth selling, but he's good at selling individual moves.
Yes.
It's just selling like injuries during a match is not a strong suit. But like, yeah, like you said, he ragdolls really well and flops around very just the right amount. Not a Dolph Ziggler, maybe a little too much level, but just the right perfect amount. But real quick, I'll probably ask you this as we get closer every week, but who's gonna win? Who's gonna win the Royal Rumble, men and women's?
Women, I think it's going to be Rhea Ripley. I think at this point it has to be Rhea if it's not Becky. And I don't care about anyone on the SmackDown side. It's
There is no one.
Liv Morgan again. She gets to go for the title again. Not win the Rumble again, but she gets to go for the title again. The men, we've got Cody Rhodes. We have Rock the Dwayne Johnson. Sami Zayn as a possibility. Kevin Owens is a possibility. Seth Rollins is a possibility. Stone Cold Steve Austin is a possibility, apparently, according to some people. So I think I could say I am way more excited for the men's Rumble this year than I have been in a very long time. Because it feels like there are legitimate options, some more likely than others. But my gut is saying, my heart is saying The Rock. My gut is saying Cody Rhodes.
All right, I'll see how you feel about it next week, and whenever we do our official predictions for the prediction show. Don't worry, BX 1740. Why do you care about our prediction show that much? Do you have a stake in that? Who are you, BX 1743? That's so weird. But anyway, that was the whole show. I would say it wasn't as good as 2 weeks ago, the last real Raw of 2022. I feel like that show was crazy, balls to the wall, very fun. And this show was decent. What'd you give it as a numerical grade?
I would give it. I'd give it 5 out of 7.
5 out of 7. Okay, all right, that's reasonable, I guess. I'd probably give it. A 74%. If I had to give it a numerical value. But yeah, that was the show. What did you guys think? How's your New Year's? What are your resolutions? James, do you have any resolutions?
I am going to work out more. That is my resolution. But I'm not going to be like one of those jabronis who taps out halfway through January or makes it to February and is like, I'm done. I plan on going hard this year.
All right. Do you want to go on a bike ride?
I have a bike. I'd be willing. I do when the weather gets better.
It's so warm tonight. Are you kidding me? It's 50 degrees.
Yeah, but it was like super rainy, wasn't it?
It rained at like 10 o'clock.
Yeah, but like that hurts my knee, man. Like if it rains for the day, like my knee feels it all day.
Oh my God. Oh, okay, Boomer. You know, we're starting a new thing on the Mark It Down podcast where we give out an award every episode for podcast and excellence. I'm stealing this from another podcast I listen to, but we're gonna pretend it's our own original idea, and it's called the Golden Ring. You know, because like wrestling ring, but also ring can be gold. You know, so it works on like every level. And you know, you were making so many good points tonight that I was gonna give it to you, but ultimately, you know, you copping out of this bike ride and having like 3 okay boomer moments, and me having this this raccoon sweater, I'm gonna have to give the golden ring to myself, which I didn't want to do that to start off the award, but I'm gonna have to get the golden ring for this episode, and you're gonna get the, I guess, the anti-award, as it'll be known, the splinter table. Yeah, you get the splinter table for this episode, but you were on track to get a golden ring, so maybe keep that in mind for your episode tomorrow with Chad, and see where that can take you. Maybe you can win out over Chad tomorrow, get yourself a golden ring.
I don't know. I feel like Death Triangle before me. They blew a 3-1 lead, and I'm devastated.
I feel like you should feel more like the 2004 Yankees, who had a 3-0 lead and blew that, because that's way worse than whatever Basketball Reference the Young Bucks are doing.
This hurt. Not gonna lie, that hurt.
Yeah. So yeah, John's New Year's resolution: try to understand TikTok. Not gonna happen. John, TikTok it's like Instagram but just videos. It's like YouTube but portrait mode. So yeah, and oh, look at that. Mark it down. One Best Wrestling Podcast 2022 from Nifty Universe. There we go.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, everyone, have a good
award-winning podcast.
Have a good year. Resolutions are not real. Just improve yourself. Don't use it as a crutch. Use it as a time frame, as a reference if you must. That's the way to go about it. But yeah, be nice to animals. Don't drink and drive. Or do, and you'll end up a tag champion in WWE. But please don't do it. Have a good night. Stay safe. Be nice to people. Yeah, that's it. Do you want to say bye to anyone?
Just watch tomorrow as the Gym Pack Zone takeover of the Mark It Down podcast continues with NXT. I will be covering Wrestle Kingdom Wednesday morning. We'll all be doing AEW Dynamite Wednesday night. I'll be doing the actual Impact Zone on Thursday. And like I said, if I'm still alive by Friday, I will try to do SmackDown and Rampage. So lots of wrestling content. And we have a 2023 prediction show that will be dropping tomorrow, sometime during the day.
All right.
So come check it out, guys.
All right, everyone, get out of my stream, please.